Well, busy afternoon at the WIAA Girls Basketball State Championship Saturday. Has not been boring today. Let's start with the D5 Championship. Lena and Albany Monticello. Connor, to break down what we saw at the end of that game and how it kind of came to be.
Well, it's the age-old debate. Up 3, what do? You foul or not foul? The other thing to consider is Lena had a foul to give, so not only could they have fouled once, but they could have fouled twice just to ruin the flow of the offense at the end for the Space Ponies of Albany Monticello. But they elected not to foul. Hollis hits that shot. We go to overtime, and Albany Monticello runs away with it at the end.
I mean, talk about a big-time shot and great execution of the final seconds by Albany Monticello to come back and tie that. Hollis hit that 3. I mean, it was one of those we saw it leave her hands. You just kind of felt like that baby's in.
Well, we had a great angle from down here, and yeah, I mean, it was on track, and when the net splashed, there's never any doubt from there.
So Albany Monticello wins Division 5. They are state champions. Congratulations to both communities and the whole Space Pony Nation. D4, Laconia, Cuba City. I got to tell you, I'm really surprised at where this game sits. Halftime, 25-21 Cuba City. To me, in a lot of ways, Connor, this game reminds me of West Salem and Pewaukee yesterday. It seemed like West Salem had a window where they could have really jumped out of that Pewaukee team. It didn't happen. And big credit to the Pewaukee defense, but kind of the same thing here. You feel like Cuba City has got their chance here. Laconia, 8 of 29 from the field in the first half, and they don't look like Laconia right now, but you don't know how long that's going to last, and so you got to take your opportunity when you get them. And the big question for me is, which Laconia team will we see in the second half?
Well, exactly. You talked about Laconia doesn't look like Laconia. When you look at it, 3 fast break points for Cuba City, none for Laconia, and that's where they live, right? They turn you over, they get out in transition, they make you miss shots, and they push the ball. They've been winning games this year by an average margin of 40 to 42 plus points. They have a lot of work to do in the second half to get to that. At this point, they'll just take a win. Cuba City's turned the ball over 7 times, but Laconia hasn't been able to get much out of it either. The game that it really reminds me of is Blackhawk, probably 5-6 years ago, where Blackhawk had won a couple state championships in a row. They had been here. It was actually the semifinal game, and they just did not shoot the ball well early in the morning. That's kind of where Laconia's been at. They haven't been shooting the ball. The 3 hasn't been falling. And Cuba City, they have their chance, but they need to come out, and they need to win the first 4 minutes with an 8-0, a 10-2, 12-0 run, somewhere in there, and really stretch this lead out to double digits.
Well, very controlled scoring for Cuba City. You've got 3, 5, 6 players that have scored. The leading scorer is Allie Ingersoll with 6 points, and then everybody else 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. To me, and I said this in the first half, Connor, Laconia is in trouble when Callista Vandenberg's your leading scorer in the first half. That means a lot of missed shots, and Callista, being the trash lady she is, has been cleaning up the mess. She's 4 of 7 from the field for a total of 10 points. Ava Engel had a 3. She had 5 points, and really nobody else of any significance scoring-wise.
Yeah, and not that you don't want Callista, leading you in scoring. It's okay for her to do that, but like you said, the rest of the crew just hasn't quite come along and woken up yet here in this championship game. But in all fairness, Cuba City's kind of slowed the game down, and it's 10-10 right now, points in the paint. But you feel like Cuba City's kind of winning that battle down low. Chris is kind of having her way, being able to do whatever she wants when she's in the game.
If the shooting for Laconia doesn't improve in the first few minutes, don't be surprised to see Aubrey Leonard try to kind of take over with her athleticism and rim runs all the way in that second half to try and get a spark going. And I think, to your point, Laconia's got to find a way to get in that transition game where they thrive, because right now, hats off to Cuba City. They're controlling the pace. They're determining the tempo. Will that continue in the second half? Don't know. Watch and see. We'll be with you following the game. You've been watching W7 live from the RESCH at the D4 State Championship game.